The confusing situation of Cordell Volson. So we cut Cordell Volson today, right? And it's weird because he's injured. He's out for the season with an injury. So cutting him doesn't make any logical sense because you never see that, right? A guy goes on IR, you could literally put him on IR tomorrow, and he would be on IR the rest of the year. It doesn't count toward your 53-man roster, whatever. We have Eric All on IR as well for that said reason. Whenever you have a guy who's out for the season, IR, injured reserve, means that they don't count toward your roster spot. So we cut the guy, but we're going to get him back if no one else claims him. So as it says here, on cutdown day, the Bengals waived Volson with an injury designation, which means he cannot play for another team this year, which obviously he's out for the season with a season-ending injury. He can negotiate a settlement that will make him available to sign with another team. So he can negotiate a settlement. So in theory, he's going to have to pay money. Or, no, a settlement would be like you settle out of court. So I guess the Bengals would, in theory, say, hey, we're no longer going to be on the hook for $2.4 million. We'll give you, I don't know, $400,000. You leave, you don't get that 2.4, you can join another team. I'm guessing that's what that means. I might be incorrect. I'm guessing that's what that means. Which seems unlikely given his injury. Yeah, so he would, again, in sense, be taking way less money to go sign with another team and then still be put on IR by another team. He can also be claimed by another team, which seems unlikely given his injury, and looming cap hit of $2.4 million, according to Over the Cap. So if someone else, so he's on free agency in theory right now, okay? Anyone can pick him up, but they can't pick him up and give him whatever contract they want. They can't give him league minimum, which is what most people would do in this situation, given the fact, not the injury fact, but given the fact the guy, you want him, but you don't want to pay him crazy money because he's not that good. There's no option there. Because we cut him with an injury designation, whoever picks him up would have to put him on IR for the whole season, and they would have to be on the hook for $2.4 million, which seems idiotic and stupid, but Cordell Volson could also settle out of court here and lower that price tag by taking less money, and then he has no money to his name or against his name, and then he could just be picked up by whoever, and they could give him league minimum if they wanted to. So it's weird because this is a player who got hurt and then got cut. Otherwise, if no one claimed him, the Volson will revert to the Bengals IR. So if nobody claims him after a certain amount of time, he comes back to the Bengals. Because again, the $2.4 million, it doesn't go away. So if no one claims him, he comes back to our squad, and he's on our IR for the rest of the season. And then after this year, because he is, 1 year left, he would just automatically become a free agent at the start of next league year. So he would be back on our squad, but he would be on our IR. So he's not going to, he doesn't count toward the roster, but he is just there to be there. Interesting. And the Bengals would still be on the hook for the $2.4 million, which obviously would be his cap. So we would still have to pay him the money, but he wouldn't be playing. Now, keep in mind, a little while ago, I would say it's about a couple months ago, we went ahead and he got a lot of money from the NFL for their little program thing they have, where if you play a certain amount of snaps and you are a certain draft pick and you're not making a certain amount of money, they have a program that they put together to make sure those guys get paid a little bonus for their time and effort in the NFL. Well, the Bengals did not like the fact he was getting all that money for free. Well, I guess not for free for playing, but the Bengals didn't like it. So they said, hey, we're going to cut you unless you give us some of that money back. Unless you change your contract and that money you got for free, you're not going to keep it. What we're going to do is we're going to put it in an incentive-based contract where if you play a certain amount of snaps, a certain amount of games, a certain this, that, and third, then you will get that money back. But if you don't, then you don't get it. And in theory, we get it. Kinda. Like, we just don't have to pay him. Now, keep in mind, it's not like we're stealing money from the guy. How it works is that extra money he got would be, added to his cap hit. It would be added to his annual salary, which would hurt us in the end. So we're just kind of taking away that money so we don't have to avoid the cap hit. Now, at the end of the day, Cordell Volson could have said, hey, you know what? Cut me then. I'll take my money. He could have done that. He could have said, cut me and I'm keeping my money. Instead, he said, no, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to, have faith in myself that I can play still, and I'm going to be a Cincinnati Bengal, and I'm going to be fine. Yeah. Given the circumstances, hindsight is 20/20. He should have took the money and ran. Now, again, hindsight is 20/20. Like, he thought to himself, hey, should I stay on this team or should I leave? And they gave him a choice, and he stayed. Zach Moss had not similar in that aspect, but he had a choice this offseason. They said, hey, dude, we're going to cut you. And then he said, okay, I'll take less money, and I'll stay on the team. So, yeah, it didn't work out. Sometimes things like that doesn't work out, but overall-wise, this situation is so weird. It really is. But in theory, just know, we cut him, but because he was injured, he's not actually cut. Like, because he's injured, unless some team picks him up, guy's coming right back to our roster. He's going to come right back to our roster and our IR. He's not leaving, technically. So, he got cut, but didn't get cut. That's where we're at.